If you're tired of feeding your AI the same bland prompts, I've got 10 practical hacks that will immediately level up your video game. Whether you are brand new to this space or you've already been tinkering for months, these tips will help you create much cleaner content. They will also help you make more consistent and, frankly, much more watchable videos overall. I'll also show you how I use workflow tools along the way, not as a big advertisement, but as a genuine asset that solves workflow pain points. The first hack is about keeping the same character consistent across multiple different video outputs. The naive approach is just pasting in a reference image every single time you generate something. But you can actually get consistent characters using just a really tight and specific textual description. Think less about a vague concept like teen wizard and more about specific facial and clothing details. Describe things like freckles, eye color, hair texture, robe color, and any specific sigils or belts. Put those clothing and facial attributes right at the beginning of your prompt. Keep that exact phrasing identical across every single prompt where you use the character. This gives the AI a stable anchor to reproduce the same person in totally different environments. Imagine that character later in a magical garden or maybe training in an open yard. You will get genuine consistency rather than 6 slightly different versions of the same person. Tip number 2 is how to make those really impressive animal hybrid or fusion sequences. People always ask about animating an animal morph, and it's actually easier than you might think. The trick is to create 3 images, 2 separate animals side by side, and then 1 image of the final hybrid. You upload the first image as the start frame and the hybrid as the end frame to let the model interpolate. However, note that you will often only get the hybrid form very briefly in that first pass. If you want a longer hybrid shot, render a second clip by animating subtle motion on just that hybrid image. You then splice the output of the first morph clip and the second subtle motion clip together for a smooth transformation. This technique works well for animal blends, though it can take a few iterations for tricky merges like an animal and a vehicle. Even in tricky situations, using high-quality reference images from tools like Midjourney helps set the stage perfectly. Tip 3 is using AI to create really wild, photorealistic visual effects, especially elemental things like fire or smoke. Runway is excellent for photorealistic VFX if you feed it extremely high-quality, real-world reference footage. Other tools can add impressive energy, but they sometimes ramp up the saturation too much for a natural look. If you want believable fire or levitating vehicles, you must prioritize a clean reference image. Then, describe the exact behavior you want to see, such as embers drift with a soft orange rim light. That level of specificity keeps the entire visual effect firmly grounded in reality. For tip 4, we are animating highly expressive faces by breaking down every single facial element. Stop simply asking the AI to make them happy, and instead describe the micro movements involved. Detail things like wide eyes, raised cheeks, slight lip curl, and a relaxed jaw structure. I rely on community lists of detailed facial directives that call out eyebrow motion and lip tension. When you feed these fine details to a generator that listens well, you get way more personality in your clips. A scrunched nose combined with a slightly raised upper lip immediately communicates disgust to the viewer. Wide open eyes paired with a high eyebrow arch instantly conveys intense surprise or shock. These tiny, precise commands are what make short clips feel incredibly cinematic and engaging. Tip 5 is about taking control of the final color and contrast using explicit, controlling language in your prompt. Too many video generators automatically boost the saturation and contrast of every single output. If you need brand consistency across all your posts, you have to tell the AI what you want. Use phrases like muted colors, a low contrast, or a desaturated pastel palette to nail your look. If you don't specify, your colors will shift wildly from clip to clip, destroying your feed's visual cohesion. This color inconsistency is a major source of frustration for people running multi-platform marketing campaigns. Inconsistent color seriously kills the perceived quality of your overall content offering. Tip 6 lets you create amazing character transformations, like a dog head turning into a teen, then aging into an older man. Just like with the first tip, make 3 distinct reference images for interpolation between those stages. Luma AI is exceptionally solid for handling these complex, multi-stage morph sequences very effectively. Crucially, do not forget to use a specific prompt to control the rate of change during the transformation. Saying, "The young man ages gradually over 6 seconds," is much better than letting the model jump instantly. That small instruction turns jarring visual jumps into believable, satisfying metamorphoses. If you created your base reference images in Midjourney, you can even tweak them before exporting for the final sequence. Tip 7 is about swapping environments seamlessly using that exact same start and end frame interpolation trick. This technique is fantastic for travel content or any kind of quick fantasy scene transition. You set the character in front of a temple, then immediately in front of a volcano, then in a busy city skyline. By using interpolation on those images, you generate a very clean, nearly unbelievable teleport effect. Be aware that non-human characters or complex props held in hands can sometimes distort during the interpolation process. Always test a very short render of the sequence before committing editing to generating a long, expensive clip. Tip 8 is all about controlling the camera motion by simply naming the shot you want very clearly. Avoid saying something vague like "move the camera," and instead ask for a close-up shot on the eyes or a bird's eye view. For example, ask for a slow 1.5x zoom or specify the starting and ending position of the movement. Combine the camera directive with a specific subject directive like close-up on eyes plus soft cinematic focus. The model becomes much likelier to execute intentional professional framing when you combine these elements. This is how you get purposeful motion that feels like actual cinematography, not just random camera jitter. Tip 9 directs the camera by specifying exactly what it should be looking for after the move is complete. Instead of just saying "tilt up," command the camera to tilt up to reveal an ancient Roman statue wearing a toga. Adding what the camera should finally find at the end of the move gives the action narrative meaning. This technique is also fantastic for creating narrative hooks that keep viewers watching your entire clip. Start with a small detail, like a key in a lock, and then command the camera to reveal the full context. Curiosity paired with a satisfying reveal is the ultimate formula for boosting viewer watch time. For tip 10, learn how to make ink or illustration reveal animations that genuinely feel handcrafted. Start your first frame as a completely blank canvas and the last frame as your finished ink illustration. Prompt for things like smooth brush strokes, visible ink splatters, and a slow buildup of layers. Runway is a particularly great place to execute this kind of sophisticated reveal animation. The key trick here is feeding the AI illustrations that already look painterly and full of real texture. The generator needs that inherent ink texture to convincingly build the artwork up over time. Now, a quick word on picking the right tool, because there is no single perfect solution for every task. Runway excels at VFX and complex cinematic compositing, but can sometimes overprocess your color choices. Luma AI is fantastic for spatial transforms and anything volumetric, but it might not be the fastest for batch jobs. Minimax and Kling are great for that consistent character rendering and the start-to-end interpolation work we discussed. However, those tools can sometimes be fiddly when you need to perfectly match color grading across a large scale. This is exactly where specialized workflow management systems like Vizard become genuinely handy. I don't want to sound like a hype man, but when you produce these clips at high volume, the bottleneck shifts. The real issue becomes post-production management, not the actual rendering time of the video itself. Vizard automatically pulls viral clips from your longer videos and creates ready-to-post short content for you. So while I create that complex transformation clip in Luma or Minimax, Vizard turns that one-off into a multi-platform stream. It does this without you having to manually babysit every single upload and posting time across the web. Specifically, there are 3 Vizard features I lean on heavily when scaling my content. First, there's auto-editing viral clips, which finds the high engagement parts so you don't have to comb through hours of footage. Next is the auto-schedule feature, which lets you set it and forget it, so the AI posts on your desired cadence. And finally, the content calendar gives you one central place to manage, tweak, and publish across all your different socials. Other platforms might give you one of those things, but few combine smart clip selection with a proper scheduling calendar. Runway, for example, does not automatically schedule your posts for you after rendering the file. Luma won't auto-edit viral snippets from raw, long-form footage that you feed into it. And while Minimax and Kling create incredible video elements, they won't help you plan or schedule a whole week's worth of content. That gap in the workflow is precisely why a platform like Vizard is so incredibly useful if you want to scale content without the grind. The ultimate bottom line is to use the right generator for the creative heavy lifting you need to do. Use that generator for character consistency, complex morphs, and unique visual effects every time. Then, use a dedicated platform like Vizard to efficiently scale that final output into repeatable social content. With these 10 prompt techniques and a solid workflow that actually publishes for you, you win. You will spend far less time chopping and exporting files and much more time iterating on new, better ideas. Ideas that actually compel viewers to stop scrolling and pay attention to what you've made. Try stacking just a few of these tips in one project for an immediate visual quality boost. Combine that detailed character work with start and end frames, precise camera commands, and a desaturated color flag. You will see just how much cleaner and more professional your final exported results will look. If this breakdown of advanced prompting was helpful to you today, please stick around for the next video. I will be sharing ready-to-use workflow templates that utilize Vizard with these specific generators. These templates will allow you to reproduce this exact professional look across an entire channel with minimal effort. Mastering the prompt is step 1, but mastering the publication workflow is what truly separates the pros. Start implementing these 10 hacks today to see a noticeable difference in your AI video output quality. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video where we build out those templates together.